Gervais Restaurant, authentic French cuisine in Silicon Valley.
So my role is VP of Product Strategy, and that's a very broad and vague role. I look after 5 different groups, mostly focused on innovation and how we build product at Yahoo, and also the Yahoo Developer Network, which is how we expose our services to third-party companies through APIs.
So what other products are you in charge of?
So really there's no specific products that I'm in charge of. In some ways my team, which is about 60 people, is about making Yahoo products better across the board. So whether they're search products or media products or communications or community, we help facilitate innovation and excellence across the company. And my boss is Ash Patel, who's the Chief Product Officer. So he uses my group and my teams to help him fulfill that role of making sure that everything Yahoo puts to market is excellent.
Can you give us an example of?
Yeah, so a couple of examples. One is a product that was actually incubated within the group, which is Yahoo Podcasting. Now, Yahoo Podcasting was a product that when the year started, many people had never heard of the term podcasting, and quickly it grew to prominence, and we realized we needed to get in the podcasting game. And so my group helped incubate the idea, build the product, deliver it to market, and last year they won the Webby Award for Best Product in the category of podcasting. And so that's an example of a success story where we went from zero to best product in the market in a very short time span. So that's an example of innovation.
So for example, for that product, did you change the UI?
Well, that product started with just an idea that said we ought to be in the podcasting market. We did not have a product in that space. And so it went from gathering requirements, what would it look like if we decided to pursue that. It was really like building a startup within a big company. And the team that did that delivered a fantastic product and in record time. So part of what the charter of my group is to innovate on timescales that are more startup-like than big company-like, and that allows us to be very nimble and agile. And not everything we do will be successful. We have a number of products that may never see the light of day because we're experimenting and playing. But those products we do put to market will have all the advantage of being part of Yahoo's family of products, all the advantage that our user base and our community and our legacy of infrastructure bring. But we've been able to do it and execute in a startup-like environment where we can make decisions in the morning, implement them in the afternoon, and launch them that night.
And do you work with startups outside of Yahoo, perhaps to get some either ideas or even technology?
Yeah, we do. My group is very involved in some of the M&A activities within the company. So, for instance, Flickr was identified and brought in by my group, and then it operates now under the Search and Marketplace banner. And Katerina Fake, who's one of the co-founders of Flickr, works for me currently running all of the innovation, all of the what we call the Hack Yahoo program, which is a grassroots innovation program within Yahoo, and Katerina runs that. So we typically use people who have experience in startups to help bring that spirit to Yahoo. And in some ways Yahoo is a startup, you know, the way that it runs and the kind of spirit of our founders, Jerry and David. It's a big company now, but I think in a lot of ways the kind of spirit of innovation here and the kind of people that are at Yahoo are very startup-like in many ways.
We're talking about a lot about innovation, how to innovate, and there is the Google model where engineers are giving some free time, and it's a very grassroots thing, and anything can happen.
Yep.
How is it at Yahoo? Do you also have those 80-20%, or how do you innovate? How do you get innovation?
Right. We don't have a prescriptive model. We don't say you must innovate 20%, not 21%, or not 15%. There are times in the life of a Yahoo, whether an engineer or a designer or a business development person, when 0 will be the right number of hours in the week to innovate, in the sense that they may be very busy launching another product, or they may not have that great idea which inspires them. And we think to kind of ask somebody to innovate when they're either under those kinds of pressures or when they're not feeling like it is not productive. What we want to do is create room and space for those people that have the passion, have a great idea, want to see it made flesh. We want to create the platform and mechanism so that those people get a chance to build something wonderful, share it with their peers, and attract the attention of those in the company that can help realize that through the rest of the process to launch it to 500 million users that we see at Yahoo every month. And so we have a program I mentioned before called Hack Yahoo. Katarina Fake, co-founder of Flickr, runs that program right now, and it involves many different prongs. There's a speaker series where we invite in provocative speakers who might be scientists, researchers, artists, musicians. We've had performance artists like Survival Research Laboratories, Mark Pauline came in. We've had musicians like Wilco and Negativland come in and talk to us about their strategies in terms of IP and digital distribution. We've had folks like Chris Anderson come in and talk to us. So it runs the gamut, everything from what you would expect to unexpected folks that we come in and invite people to change their way of thinking. So that speaker series is part of the program. There's an internal blog, and the internal blog is a way for great ideas to see the light of day in kind of a peer-reviewed format. And so people submit what are called hacks, and hacks are living prototypes. And what we found is, as opposed to a suggestion box where people kind of put in a suggestion like we ought to build a podcasting product, if you ask people to take the next step and actually prototype this and create something that may not be perfect, it may have lots of warts and it may not be scalable, but it allows people to kick the tires, that's the best way to rally support around these things. And the kind of catchphrase that we use is mash up or shut up. So it's really easy to be an armchair quarterback and say, we should have, we could have, why didn't we? Those things are easy to do. But if you tell people to mash up or shut up, basically put their hacking where their mouth is, it raises the bar. And it also has all these great effects of creating an environment where people form teams to get things done spontaneously. They just pair up. And there's a lot of passion around that model.
When you say mashup, do you mean like mashup like in a Web 2.0 company?
Yeah. It's a little catchphrase, mash up or shut up. Not every innovation, not every hack is a mashup. But the idea of a mashup is powerful. It says, I'm going to use big tools that have taken sometimes decades to develop. Things like Yahoo's internal registration database, where we have literally hundreds of millions of registered users coming to Yahoo. Those are things that you're not going to build in a day. They're a legacy of many years of person effort to kind of build that up. But mashups allow you to kind of take that, use it in a different way, or leverage it somehow to provide something new and novel. And so mashup and shut up, not everything that we do is a mashup, but the spirit of that, both the mashup, which means do something quick, do something dirty, do something provocative that is interesting, and also the shut up, which means, you know, if you're not going to contribute, get out of my way, kind of. You know, I don't need commentary or feedback from those that don't want to play or participate in this. It asks people to put their money where their mouth is and get off the couch and join us. So there's a real spirit of hackership, innovation, entrepreneurship here that we're continuing to cultivate.
And that's only on for your group, those 60 people, or you're just opening it to the rest?
It's wide open to the company. In fact, the way we describe it, the group, my group, is relatively small compared to the tens of thousands of people at Yahoo. We think of ourselves in the music paradigm like we are the roadies. We build the stage, we do the soundboard, we work the lights, we get the drugs, in this case sugar and caffeine, and then the employees are the musicians. They get up on stage and jam, and what we try to do is make that as an effortless an experience. We try to get the right audience to the jam session, meaning our executives. So at the hack days that we do, we invite the C-level executives to come, and at the last one, Sue Decker, our CFO, was there, and Usama Fayyad, our Chief Data Officer, Prabhakar Raghavan, the head of research. So we had a stellar cast who sat there glued to their chairs for hours as these hacks were presented. That's something we call Hack Day, and we do that typically once a quarter. and we invite everyone in the company, not the small number of people in my group, but all of the Yahoos around the world to stop business as usual and build something. And then we gather in the cafeteria like this one at the end of the day, and everyone presents their project one after the next. And because of the time considerations, you have about a minute to get up, pitch your project, demo it, and then move on to the next one. And we have literally hundreds of these, so it takes hours just to get through the hundreds of demos. And then at the end we give some awards, which are mostly silly awards, like most likely to offend human resources, or least likely to ever launch as a product. And then some more serious ones, like the we should have done this yesterday award, like duh, this is a great idea and it deserves to see the light of day.
As a user, where can we find those projects? Or do you have a little bit like Google, for example, where they have their labs and you can find all those pre-beta or alpha projects? Do you also publicize or make it public?
Right, so there are really a couple of ways that you can see the fruits of these projects. So the first and the best, and what we always hope for, is that they launch as products or as features within products. And of the hundreds of hacks that have been submitted to date in this program, probably between a dozen and 2 dozen have launched and are successes that we can point to in the marketplace. So that's one place where you can see them. Another thing we do is launch more speculative things on a site that we call next.yahoo.com. So those are products that are early. We're still learning from them. We're not sure that they're right for every one of Yahoo's 500 million users, but we want to get some early feedback from early adopters, so we put them out there in a public way. Another thing we've launched are what we call prototypes. So things like Checkmates and ZoneTag are both out of the Berkeley group. They're publicly available. You can download them. So ZoneTag is a piece of software for mobile phones. It runs on the Symbian Series 60 phones, and it basically auto tags your Flickr photos. So as I take a picture of you, if it knows that everyone who's taken a picture at this place at this time has tagged it lunch, for instance, it will auto suggest the tag lunch as a likely tag. Because typing is so hard on these mobile devices, it's a great convenience if you can do auto tagging or suggested tagging. So that is publicly available. It has literally thousands of users, and tens of thousands of photos have been uploaded to Flickr through that mechanism. So it's another one that's early. It's not necessarily for the average Yahoo user, but we want to get feedback and make them available to those folks that are ready.
How do you work with the labs, with Yahoo Labs?
Right.
And what's the interaction?
So we work very closely. We have a couple of joint projects that we run together. For instance, Yahoo Research Berkeley is a joint production of my group and Yahoo Research. The head of Yahoo Research is sitting right over there, Prabhakar Raghavan. He's one of the good friends of mine here, so we speak frequently, probably sit in meetings together or connect 3 to 4 times a week. So it's a very close-knit relationship, and in fact there's even crossover between his team and my team. We just had somebody formally join his team. It turned out he ended up spending more time interacting with some of the scientists at Yahoo Research, so we decided we would just flip him over to that side. It's a very permeable membrane and people float in both directions.
So you would take the projects from Yahoo Research and productize it? And
that is one model, yes, and it works both ways. Sometimes we're working on something and we think, if only there were a way to, and it becomes the foundation of a research problem. We approach them and say, if we only had a way to, and then they finish that sentence and come back and work with us to provide a solution, which sometimes involves very deep math and new science. Sometimes it flows the opposite way. So an example of that would be the Yahoo Tech Buzz Game, which is a marketplace that we launched with O'Reilly. And it allows you to buy shares in ideas. So for instance, I could buy shares in Video iPod if I think the stock of Video iPod's going up. And then it uses the search frequency as a measure of its value. So it's a predictive market where I can basically buy stock or short stocks in certain terms that I think will increase or decline in popularity. That was an idea, and the science behind it came out of Yahoo Research, but they needed a little bit of help in terms of productizing that and helping build the user experience around that. And so my group has been helping in that regard.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Gervais Restaurant, authentic French cuisine in Silicon Valley.